My fiancé crashed our wedding in a sparkling dress, took the microphone, and tried to relive their past, but I shut her down in front of everyone. I never imagined my wedding day would turn into a confrontation, straight out of a drama thread. But life clearly had other plans. My name is Sarah, and the day I married Daniel was supposed to be the happiest, calmest day of my life. We weren't flashy people. No over-the-top decorations, no viral proposal story, no designer obsession. Just close friends, family, and a quiet promise to choose each other forever. I thought love was enough to keep the past where it belonged. Daniel and I had spent months planning every detail, from the soft music that played while guests arrived, to the simple white roses lining the aisle. Everything felt intentional. I wanted the day to reflect us peaceful, warm, and sincere. When I walked down the aisle and saw Daniel waiting for me, his eyes glassy and nervous, I truly believed nothing could touch us in that moment. The ceremony went perfectly. We exchanged vows, kissed, and walked back down the aisle as husband and wife. I remember thinking, this is it. We made it. The reception hall was all ready, buzzing with laughter and clinking glasses when we arrived. I was glowing, riding that high where nothing feels wrong and the world seems briefly kind. Then the doors opened again. At first, I didn't register who she was. Just a tall woman in a shimmering dress that caught the light in all the wrong ways. It wasn't wedding appropriate, but I figured maybe she was someone's plus one with questionable taste. Then I saw the way heads turned, the way whispers spread like wildfire. And then I saw Daniel's face. He froze, not confused, not curious, just frozen. That's when it hit me. Emily, his ex. The woman I was told not to worry about. She walked in slowly, confidently, like she'd rehearsed this moment in her head 100 times. Her dress sparkled more than mine, hugging her body in a way that felt intentional, calculated. She scanned the room like she was checking for reactions, then smiled when she found them. My heart sank, but I straightened my posture and lifted my chin. I refused to let her see me falter. I hadn't invited her. Daniel hadn't invited her, and yet there she was, standing in the middle of my wedding reception like she belonged. Emily wasn't just Daniel's ex. She was the echo that never fully faded. When Daniel and I first started dating, he was honest about his past. He told me they'd dated for a few years, that it ended badly, and that it was completely over. I believed him. I wanted to. But little things kept happening that made it harder to ignore her presence. A random text late at night that Daniel brushed off as nothing, running into her at places that were supposedly coincidences. Subtle comments on social media posts that felt a little too pointed to be harmless. I told myself I was being insecure. Daniel reassured me every time. He chose me, after all. He proposed to me. Surely that meant something. But seeing her in person on this day dragged every buried doubt to the surface. She didn't acknowledge me at first. Not even a glance. Her eyes were locked on Daniel. She walked straight toward him, heels clicking loudly against the floor. And before I could even process what was happening, she wrapped her arms around him in a long, lingering hug. The kind that says familiarity, ownership, history. Daniel stiffened. His hands hovered awkwardly in the air before settling briefly on her back, clearly unsure of how to react. Cameras were out. Guests were watching. My bridesmaid shifted closer to me, waiting for some kind of signal. I smiled, not because I felt calm, but because I refused to give her the satisfaction of seeing me unravel. Emily finally pulled back and laughed, loud and bright. I just had to come, she said, her voice carrying. I couldn't miss this. Daniel murmured something I couldn't hear. His eyes flicked to me, guilt written all over his face. I squeezed his hand gently, a silent message, I'm watching. I'm in control. Emily drifted away after that, but not far. She made sure to position herself where she could be seen, laughing too loudly, touching people she barely knew, acting like she was part of the inner circle. She even took a seat at a table near the front, meant for close friends and family. I felt heat rise in my chest, but I swallowed it down. This was my wedding. I wasn't going to scream or cry or let her turn me into the villain. If she wanted attention, she'd have to earn it. I had no idea she was about to push things much further. Dinner was served, and I started to relax just a little. Maybe Emily would get bored. Maybe she'd leave once she realized she wasn't getting the reaction she wanted. I allowed myself to breathe, focusing on Daniel beside me, the way his thumb traced slow circles on my hand like an apology he didn't yet know how to voice. Then the speeches began. One by one, friends and family stood up, sharing stories, laughter, and a few tears. I smiled, laughed, and even cried a little myself. This was the part of the night I'd been looking forward to, the warmth, the love, the sense of community around us. And then Emily stood up. At first, I thought maybe she was just stretching. Then I saw her reach for the microphone. A hush fell over the room. She wasn't on the list. No one had invited her to speak. But she smiled sweetly and tapped the mic like she belonged there. "Hi, everyone," she said. "For those of you who don't know me, I'm Emily." A few people shifted uncomfortably. Daniel's face drained of color. "I just wanted to say a few words," she continued. "Daniel and I go way back. We shared so many special memories together. We grew up together, really. There was a time when everyone thought we'd end up together." My heart thudded painfully against my ribs. She laughed softly, shaking her head like she was reminiscing. Life is funny like that. Sometimes things don't work out the way you expect. But I truly wish Daniel all the happiness in the world. She raised her glass slightly, eyes glistening in a way that felt rehearsed. The silence in the room was deafening. I felt every pair of eyes shift toward me. That was it. I stood up slowly, smoothing my dress, and walked toward her. My heels didn't shake. My hands didn't tremble. I reached out, gently took the microphone from her hand, and smiled. "Thank you, Emily," I said calmly, "for reminding us of the past." A few nervous chuckles rippled through the room. "But today isn't about what almost happened," I continued. "It's about what did happen. Daniel chose me. He proposed to me. And today, he married me." I turned slightly, meeting her gaze. "While you're here reliving old memories, I'm living the future he promised me. And trust me, it doesn't include you." For a split second, no one moved. Then the room erupted. Applause broke out from every corner, loud and unrestrained. I heard cheers, gasps, even a few laughs. Emily's face went pale, then flushed a deep, angry red. She tried to smile, but it cracked almost immediately. Her lips parted like she wanted to say something, but no words came out. I handed the microphone back to the DJ and walked calmly back to my seat, my heart pounding, but my head held high. Daniel stared at me like he was seeing me for the first time. Pride, relief, and something close to across his face. Emily stood there awkwardly for a moment longer, clearly hoping the attention would shift back to her. It didn't. Conversations resumed. People turned away. The spell was broken. She gathered her purse quietly and slipped toward the exit without another word. No dramatic goodbye. No final glance. Just a woman realizing she'd lost the power she thought she had. Daniel leaned toward me, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm so sorry. I had no idea she would do this." I squeezed his hand. "Don't be," I said softly. She gave me an opportunity. The rest of the night felt lighter. We danced, laughed, and celebrated without the tension that had been building for years. Friends hugged me, whispering how proud they were. My bridesmaids grinned like they'd just watched a live performance. Emily didn't come back. She didn't post anything online. She disappeared as abruptly as she arrived, and somehow that felt like the most satisfying ending of all. Later that night, as Daniel and I swayed together under the soft glow of the lights, I finally let myself feel everything. The nerves, the anger, the relief. I realized something important in that moment. Emily hadn't come to ruin my wedding. She'd come to reclaim a version of herself that no longer existed. And she failed. Daniel rested his forehead against mine. "You were incredible today," he said quietly. I smiled. I just told the truth. That night didn't end with bitterness or regret. It ended with clarity. The past had shown up uninvited, tried to steal the spotlight, and walked away defeated not because I fought dirty, but because I stood firm. Emily thought she could shake me. Instead, she reminded everyone exactly where she belonged. In the past, I left that reception with my husband, my dignity intact, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing I didn't lose my grace to win my moment. She came to my wedding expecting attention. She left with a lesson, and I left married.